Well, you're going to be ready because I just pressed record.
All right, folks, we're back for another exciting episode of Something by Southwest.
This is a bonus episode.
Wow, bonus.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going pretty well today, I suppose. I mean, I just wasted like an hour and a half watching you put up misters in your backyard.
It's hot and they're nice.
No, they are nice. No, but I told listeners that I was coming over here at like 3 to get this recorded and that I would publish it right away. And you know, people are sitting on the edge of their seat waiting.
Yeah, I know. Like people were waiting for dinner to be cooked and all kinds of stuff. There's like babies crying without food because they just can't.
Yeah, people are just like waiting for Death by Southwest bonus episode. Do you want to get up and check if she ate her food?
No, I think she's good. Good dog.
Indiana didn't eat breakfast, so we were, waiting on bated breath to see if she ate her dinner.
She needs her proteins.
She does. She's a little skinny. So,
she's a few pounds heavier,
Yeah, she is. What was she, 48?
Yeah, she's building muscle tone from running around like a crazy maniac.
So, as if you didn't guess, I have Mark as my co-host for this bonus episode, which thank you for doing this because the last several bonus episodes, I did say to people, like, I'll try and get someone to do it with me because the bonus episode's not super fun when I'm just having a conversation by myself.
It's just like you're an insane person.
Yeah,
Well, I was glad I was able to fly in for this.
So
now back from Australia.
Yeah,
Don't
do it. Don't do the accent.
I wasn't going to do the accent.
So we have some things to talk about. First of all, I have notes.
Oh, yes. Let's bring out the notes.
Yeah, I've started taking notes not only about what I want to talk about on the bonus episodes, but when people send emails, DMs, or leave voicemails, I've started taking notes so that I, can appropriately respond.
That makes sense.
I know. But the first thing that I didn't even need to make a note for was the fact that I did post, I can't remember exactly what, but I posted something about taking Henry to the cardiologist, and I didn't give it much context because we didn't have any at the time. We were on our way up.
Should I explain?
You want to explain?
Do you want to explain?
How about I explain the first part?
Okay, you start explaining away.
Okay. So I think
And then I'll mansplain it, and everybody's like, that makes sense. Yeah. Actually, she was better. Like, shut up.
Okay, so I think I have explained, I don't know, about that like several weeks, maybe a month ago, we both noticed that Henry was breathing heavier when he was sleeping. He was maybe wheezing a little bit more coughing. And you...
Well, it's like when I was laying on the floor with him, cuddling, like after I got to the house or something, and he was like, oh, lovey, but he was like, and I was like, that doesn't sound good. Not normal henbin.
Yeah. And so Mark was very insistent.
Adamant.
Yes, that I take him to the vet, and we just assumed it was valley fever, which is a super common illness for dogs. Can cats get it?
I don't know about cats, but I know
people can.
People can for sure. Like,
yeah, but
pretty much if you live in the desert, like Arizona, with all the dust and shit. Like Michael's brother's a medic, and everything, and works for the fire department. And we were talking about one time, and he was like, "Dude, if you went if they did an X-ray of your chest or like a CT scan." Mm-hmm. He's like, all of us, you'd all have the scars from it.
Yeah.
Because if you've lived in Arizona with all the dust, you've had it.
Well, yeah, because...
Most people you have a cough for a couple of weeks and you don't really know.
Right, but let's explain what it is.
Okay, it's a fungal infection.
Yeah.
That comes from the dirt.
Thank you, yes.
From the dry-ass dirt in Arizona. There's fungus.
It's so weird. It
Mushrooms
is weird.
Or fungus is incredible.
Look at Henry.
He's a handsome boy.
He's handsome. He's sitting here staring at me with his hand on my arm. He's so sweet.
He's all, you talking about me?
But so we just assumed it was valley fever. And if you catch valley fever early enough, you maybe don't have to take the antifungal medication, at least for dogs. I don't know for humans. But, the vet was like, well, if it is valley fever, he'll probably be fine. He can probably fight it off.
Allergy pills and cough medicine.
Yeah, allergy pills and cough medicine. And so I took him in for a blood test. They called a week later and said, well, valley fever, however they like register or read it, it would be a higher number. His reading on his blood test for valley fever was a 1 or a 2, which apparently is like you don't have it or you just got it. It's like barely showing up. I was like, okay, well, so that's good, right? What does that mean? And they said, well, we think you should bring him in for a chest x-ray. We just want to see if we can see like any inflammation from.
Yeah, we thought it was some sort of other infection
right.
or something like
and
that.
So Thursday, I brought him into the vet, and I really was just like, no big deal. Like, we're just going in, get the chest x-ray. I was kind of curious how they were going to get him to stay still for the x-ray. And I thought it would just be like, yeah, he has bronchitis or I don't know, something. And they took him. He got the chest x-ray. I was waiting. I'm like, it's taking a long time. And then one of the vet techs came in and was like, I'm going to take his file and show it to Dr. Shannon. I'll be right back. I was like, okay. Like, this should just be a very simple, this is what it looks like. And so then I started getting worried. And then they came in. They're like, why don't you come here so you can see the x-ray in the other room? It's like, okay.
Tell them about the x-ray, too. It's like an old film. It's like they're all clicking it up there. That's
exactly what it was. It's like, I mean, I guess now a lot of times x-rays, they'll show you like on a computer screen or something. But our vet's kind of old school.
Yeah, it goes straight to like an iPad or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Well, yeah. So
like when I had my rock climbing accident when I was 17, like I had they gave me the folder. Like I had
yeah, me too.
Like a huge folder, but they x-rayed my entire body. So I had like every foot, arm, everything. Like,
you just wanted to sound cool and fit that in there somehow.
I was 100% x-rayed, you know? It's probably what's wrong with me. So much radiation. They're all just hitting you. I'm all, is this safe for me? Then I'll just keep going. You know?
So it was like the film. I mean, I've only broken my collarbone ever, and that was in Greece. So I don't really know what they were saying, but I did have like a film x-ray that they put up on a thing. So people who listen to this are old enough to know what that is. So
Kodiak film.
It's
a Polaroid. Just kidding. With radiation, with Russian radiation behind it, you know?
Okay.
Soviet shit.
We're going to be here all night if you don't let me get this story out.
Continue.
So, she was like, well, usually you would see inflammation here. First she said, well, there's a little bit of arthritis in his spine, but that's no big deal. I was like, okay, great. And then she said, and usually you would see inflammation here, but I don't. I was like, uh-huh. And she's like, what I do see is a very large mass right here, a smaller one here, and a little dot here. I was like, okay. And those things are what? She's like, this is his heart, and here's the big mass. And so she was showing that like his heart has this huge mass on it that is not normal. I was like, so is that a tumor? She's like, that would be my best guess, but I'm not gonna say for sure.
I thought she said it's not a tumor at all.
She did not.
Do you know what movie that's from?
I want to take a guess, but then I don't want to sound dumb.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I know it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. From Terminator?
No.
Wait, don't tell me.
Do you think about like what you did before you podcasted and got into media?
Kindergarten Cop.
Boom, nailed it.
Yes. I knew that. I did know that. Don't look at me like that.
Obviously.
So anyways, sorry. Mark keeps distracting me. It is. She thought it was a tumor, and I was like, so what does that mean? She's like, cancer. And so she was,
panic sets in.
So yeah, I was like, she was talking, and I'm in my head just thinking, no, this really cannot be happening. This cannot be happening. And so I didn't hear a lot of the rest of what she said, but she basically, then she gave me a pamphlet. She's like, you have to go see an oncologist. And then I'm just immediately transported back to my mom being sick, because that's the only time I've had to deal with an oncologist. And it just was terrible. And so I came home and immediately contacted the oncologist in Phoenix, which I'm sure we've said this a million times, but for people who aren't familiar with Arizona, we're in Tucson, which is 60 miles from the border of Mexico. And
90 miles from Phoenix.
Yeah, and Phoenix is about a 2-hour drive north of us. Mexico's 60 miles south of us. So...
You're so good with directions.
Shut It's all of our listeners already know that I'm terrible with directions. You're not scooping them on anything.
Where are we right now?
Stop it. So I was panicking a bit. Anyways, I came home. I called the oncology place. And then they told me we don't do diagnostics. They were like, does he definitely have cancer and a tumor? And I was like, I don't know.
We're going to you for this.
I don't know. I
know?
need you to tell me that. And they were like, yeah, we don't do diagnostics anymore. So you have to find somewhere that does. And it's either diagnostics or internal medicine. And I was like, okay. So I called my vet back. I'm like, they don't do like, can you tell me somewhere here? And she's like, she listed 3 places. And when I tell you that I feel like this should be easier, and thank goodness for the lovely receptionist front desk person at Southwest Veterinary Specialists, I believe. And then a section of that is called Southern Oncology or something like that. Because I spoke to, and I wish I had the places in front of me, but there were a few places I spoke to that were very helpful. And there were a lot of places I spoke to that were super unhelpful. And every place I called, I had to explain the whole long story. Like, well, we thought my dog had valley fever and I brought him in for a blood test and then this happened. Then we did a chest x-ray. She thinks it's a tumor and cancer, but she's not entirely sure. And so can you help me? And most of them were like, well, so we could do a CT scan, but then we're going to send it back to your doctor. And I was like, no, because she can't diagnose it. I need someone who can definitively tell me.
Oncologist.
Yeah. And so several people were like, well, you need an oncologist. And then several other people were like, you need a cardiologist. So I found an oncologist here in Tucson, but they can't see us till September 4th. So I just made the appointment to be on the safe side. And then this one place, I can't remember now.
But remember, like, explain the tumor, and your other dog had that, like the tumor that goes really fast.
Oh, no, my other dog didn't have that.
Okay, well, whatever.
I just looked it up when I got home. Like, my doctor had mentioned like possibilities of what it could be, especially because he's half Rottweiler. Like, and Rottweilers are very prone to getting heart tumors, and it can be like one of 2 kinds, and one is called a chemodectoma and one is called a hemo something, and that one is what I thought it was, and that it said like
you can't wait a month for an appointment,
right? It's like you're gonna, like, this is a fast, quickly growing aggressive cancer, and most dogs from the date of diagnosis have several weeks to maybe a few months. And so I'm like full blown panicking after I read that. And, they say don't like be a Google MD, like don't like look up doctor stuff. But I did. And then I was full blown just like trying to talk to all these vets' offices, like crying. I need you to help. And most of them are like, what do you need? I was like, I don't know. I need you to help me figure out what I need. But several places suggested that we see a cardiologist first. They're like, if it's a heart tumor, that might be your best place to start and then go from there, which kind of made sense. And they all recommended this desert something I really wish I could remember the name, in Gilbert, in Phoenix. And I called and left them a message, and I thought, it's the only Dr. Whit Church. He's the only cardiologist for animals, apparently in the state of Arizona. And I thought, I'm never going to hear back from these people. They called back the same day. And she was so nice on the phone. And she was like, can you be here tomorrow at 3:30? And I was just like, yep.
Yeah, they had like a lucky cancellation or something.
I was like, yep, we'll be there. No problem. And she was I'm like crying. She was so helpful. I really appreciate people like that. They are so good. Like, that's a moment of panic,
And they were great up there,
Oh my gosh, they were great. And so got the appointment. Mark was very kind and like immediately came over and stayed over because I was very upset. And I think you were pretty upset as well.
I love Henry.
I know you do.
I was all worried about a boy.
Yeah. So, and then the next day I putzed around the house like a zombie. I was so nervous that we were going to be told awful. I thought for sure there's no way we're going and it's not going to be a death sentence. Like it just is. He has a giant tumor on his heart there's
I was
no
also
good news.
concerned.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like really miss work, but I like went to job sites like everybody's getting the fuck out of here at this time because I'm leaving.
Yeah, Mark was like, I'm leaving early. I'll be there. I'll drive us. And I'm just, you know me, I never shut up. And I feel like on the drive up there, we barely talked.
I mean, your gums were flapping a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because you're trying to distract yourself. I know.
Yeah, I was. I was super nervous. I just like literally, it's almost a year to the day that we lost Izzy, which I can't talk about or I still cry. But
It was scary.
yeah, I was scared. I was like, I can't lose Henry too.
So we had a little road trip. Henry did a great job just chilling in the back.
He did. He was so excited. And we drove up there and it was nice. My one of my closest, bestest friends, Nicole, and her son live in Gilbert. So they were pretty close by the vet's office. They came and met us in the parking lot to say hi and give me a hug. Nicole knows how crazy I am about my animals. So she was worried for me and brought me a lovely birthday present. And then, yeah, we went in and
They did an echogram or whatever.
echocardiogram. Yeah, we went in and Henry was a very good boy. I'm always nervous to bring him in a waiting room because he gets real barky around other dogs.
Well, he wants to play with other
He wants
dogs.
to play and he doesn't know how to express that. He loves people though, but he's still he's a big dog. He's half Rottweiler, half boxer, we think. And he can be a scary looking dog, especially when he's barking.
But yeah.
Or intimidating,
Like
I guess.
Indiana, it's not like the dog like, oh, it's going to eat my face up.
No.
Like Henry, you're like, dog
Yeah,
can kill
don't
me.
know.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Even though Henry would only kill you with kindness.
I know, he's the sweetest. And so, yeah, we went and we
like saw the nurse.
We saw the nurse,
yeah.
yeah.
And all the business.
Told her all the information. Our vet happened to be closed on Friday, so we weren't able to get his records there, and they were very nice about it. And then she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take him back for the echocardiogram." And I didn't even ask any questions about that. I kind of had an idea of what it was, but in my head I'm like, are they gonna have to sedate him? Like, how are they gonna get him to stand still? And she was just, okay, we're going to take him. And he just boop, 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 right out the door with them. No big deal.
Later, bitches. I was like, all right, and we were concerned.
And then it took maybe a half hour, 40 minutes.
It took about 40 minutes waiting in the room with
My
dread.
God, it was terrible. It was very, I think we were just both prepared to leave there just very upset and crying and with no hope. And then Dr. Whit Church, the nurse brings Henry back, and then the doctor comes in a few minutes later. And you're right, I didn't even think about that because with this, he immediately showed us the echocardiogram on his iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for those that don't know, it's basically like a sonogram of your heart.
Yeah. And he was wonderful. He was like, at first I thought, oh my God, say less words, speak.
What I wanted to ask him is, my beloved dog going to die or is he okay?
Right.
That's what I want that explanation first and then not. Because I've been to quite a few doctors with all my accidents.
Yes, you are accident.
And when I had my appendix removed, the first thing the doctor comes in and he's like, hey, how's it going? Because it was a week later, anytime they take anything out of your body, they do a biopsy. And he's like, well, there's a tumor on it. And I was like, all right, I'm 23 years old. I'm going to die of cancer. This is fucking awful. And he's all, no, it's benign. It's not a problem at all. I'm like, you need to lead with that. I literally almost threw up. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's true. That's what I was hoping. But yes, he did not lead with that necessarily, but he did explain everything very well. I didn't feel rushed. It was almost 5:00 on a Friday. And he did not make, I asked a bunch of questions. I guess I should explain what he said first. Anyways, he said, yes, there is quite a large tumor on his heart. And then he showed us a diagram of, not Henry's heart, but a
dog heart.
Yeah, a diagram of a dog heart. He was like, and it's right here, which is kind of an odd location because if it's this type of cancer, it's usually outside the heart, on the outside of the heart here. Or if it's this type of cancer, it's here. He's like, this is literally right at the aortic valve. So it's kind of at the top or maybe bottom the top of his heart. And it's not blocking it. So blood is still flowing. It could grow and block it. That is one possibility that would be not great. But he said because of where it is not the type of tumor / cancer that I read about and was immediately freaking out about.
There's nothing you can do in your
right. The hema. I wish I should find the name
on your notes.
I didn't write down the name of it on my notes, but
anyways, he explained it very well, and he's like, "Listen, this is how it really works. Is if it's in this location, it can only be this. If it's in this location, it could be this or this." So he gave us a lot of good information.
Yes,
and we were both very relieved to know that.
Right, but
we weren't saying goodbye to a boy?
Yes, a hemangiosarcoma. It's aggressive and the most common type of heart tumor found in dogs, especially Rottweilers. And it's very aggressive and there's nothing you can do. And so that's what I was worried about. And he said, I really don't believe it's that. He said he thinks it's a chemodectoma, which could be benign, which, means there's no cancer. Or it could be, and he said that's what he most likely thinks.
Yeah, because of the location. He says it's
right.
a little weird, but I could only see it from this
right.
angle.
And he's like, I can't say it's for sure not cancer. He's like, but if I had to make my best guess, I would say it's benign. However, you need to go see an oncologist because then they'll be able to tell you if it is cancerous. And there are several different things that could happen. It could be lymphoma. That's one of the more easily treatable ones. He's like, if you're going to hope.
I thought. Because, my friend died of, Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is, it's all over your body. But apparently with this, they can do a little shot and, shrink it down and whatnot.
So he was like, that's the most ideal type. Or it could be, apparently some type of thyroid cancer manifests in the heart for certain dogs. I didn't fully understand that, but he said it could be that. That's less good. Or...
but still treatable.
Potentially. Or it could have, if it has metastasized and there are other tumors, which I'm a little concerned about because our vet, remember on that x-ray, said, here's the big one, here's a smaller one, and here's another one. He couldn't see that on the echocardiogram because it's like a video. Anyways, I feel like we're getting pretty deep into this. The consensus was that we need to go see an oncologist. We have an appointment September 4th. Hopefully we'll get in earlier if there's a cancellation. But that he's not going to die tomorrow. I can keep doing our morning walks,
which he loves,
and that we just need to hope that it's benign. And if it is, then we just go once a year for an echocardiogram to check on it, and he could easily live for years. He's a shelter dog, so we don't know, but he's 7-ish, 8-ish.
Well, he's 7.
7, 8, yeah. So he potentially could live for a very long time with this if it's not cancerous. If it is cancerous, then that's going to be a huge bridge to cross when we get there. And we won't know until we go to the oncologist. So that'll either be September 4th or sooner if we can get a sooner appointment. And
the whole point is that we can take him for his little walks, and he's a very good dog.
And the cardiologist said that his breathing stuff, it could be allergies. It might not be related to his heart because that trouble breathing and stuff is usually related to, what is it called? Congestive heart failure.
It's pressure.
And he doesn't have that.
Well, just in the vet, we were there and when the doctor came in, he relaxed.
Yeah,
and Henry was sleeping on my leg, and I was like, see, right now he's not wheezing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, that's a good sign.
And then when we asked a billion questions, the doctor was with us for probably 40 minutes. And then it was like, okay, great. We have our plan of action. What's happening next? And we got up to shake his hand and say, thank you so much. And as we got up to we were all shaking hands saying goodbye, and Henry gets up and just walks right over to the doctor with his little tail wagging and his head down thanks, doc. He was so sweet.
What a boy.
Yeah. So it was really scary though. I was very panicked.
It was terrible. But let's talk about also the story to get up there.
So to get back.
No, it was started on the way up there.
What?
So as we get very close to Phoenix, it's like a dead stop. And remember I was like, hey, we should leave early because there's always accidents on I-10.
Yeah.
And luckily it just happened.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it just happened. Like there was no cops there or anything.
The
And, like,
accident. There was an accident.
Yeah. And there was like a car that like rolled over. All the
whole
airbags
roof.
were all off. Like
Yeah.
everybody was there. The cops were like screaming down the road at it, but they hadn't got there yet. So like we got by there, and I was like, okay, well hopefully it's.
There was
clear.
like tires in the road that
Yeah,
had
like some guy
flown
ran over,
off
like,
the
a tire.
car. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was an accident.
Yeah.
And so we like went up there like, okay, and then when we're leaving back, it's like a different route. We're going out in the middle of nowhere
Through
to
the middle of nowhere.
avoid I-10. So we're just like driving on these like farm roads and all this shit to like go wherever. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Very rural.
it's going to take a minute. And then we come around this corner and there's like, we're like, what are these cops doing? Like, why is this car stopped? And then this cop like races up chasing this dude.
No. I remember we were like, yeah, there's cops over there. But then I see a dude running down the road and I was like, maybe he's running from the cops. I was joking. I was totally joking.
No, he was running from the cops. And then the cop like cut him off with his squad car. But then he just like did like a...
he doubled back.
Yeah,
the
he
guy.
doubled back and running. But he was a larger man and couldn't run really fast.
Yes.
The cop wasn't that small either.
No, that's true.
But he literally caught up to him within like a second.
Yeah.
And just body slammed his ass. Like he was all, ooh.
I know, but it was so funny because like I've never seen that before in my life. Like this guy who is literally running. We're in the desert. It's just open
it's
fields.
112. So just so everybody knows, it's 112 degrees. There's nothing around. There's not like a shopping
I
center.
posted the
like
video of it today.
It's farmland. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you
For
were
as
like,
far as the eye can
if
see.
you were a Usain Bolt with a bottle of water, you could get away from the cops. But
I don't know
not
what that means.
He's like one of the fastest runners ever in the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, even I'm not terrible shape, but I'm not the best. I'm not the best of a runner.
No.
But there's nowhere to run. Like
Nowhere.
It's 10 miles in any
No.
directions to like
Unless you have like an
to,
invisibility cloak.
a gas station or a rundown house. Like,
yeah, there's nothing.
There's nowhere. There's
and it's
nowhere
just
to hide.
open.
Yeah, it's like
open.
farm fields, not even corn.
This guy
just like
he's wearing a bright red shirt, by the way. he's like running and once because I was like, oh, maybe he's running from the cops, and I was like, no, like I
was
thought
like, for sure he's running.
And then you
were
were like, he is running from the cops, and then we see the cop car, like turn
he's
around,
got
race
him.
over, cut him off, and we're like, oh well, that was over quick. And then we see him like jet behind. All of a sudden, he's running the opposite direction, crossing over the whatever road it was, not a highway, I guess. Oh my god, it was great. It really made it wonderful.
It was so much excitement. You know?
It was so much excitement.
And so then we left that area, and then it was a very long because everybody's rerouting because there was the accident on I-10. They closed part of it down, and so it took us quite a while to get back on.
Hold on, before you get to
freeway.
that part. Look.
No way. Damn it, I wish I got that on video.
I just had the cop on him. Like,
Yeah.
did you see the beginning?
Took him down.
Yeah.
No way.
And then remember there's the murder van right there we were behind the whole time?
Yes, I got pictures of it. We were behind this van and we were like, in case somebody ever gets murdered, I was trying to get pictures of the license plate.
That seemed very sketchy. You know?
It did. But keep going. Sorry.
So after we finally got back onto the 10, we are like cruising, going back to Tucson. And then like right as we get into Tucson, Margot's like, is that rain? Well, it looks like rain, but it's kind of dusty.
Okay, you were not that nice about it. I was like, what is that? Is that dust?
Well, you were
and you were
focused
like,
on the
it's rain. It's
what
rain.
rain?
Can't you see the sheets of rain?
Yeah, sheets of rain.
I was like,
It's a
what?
Guns N' Roses song. Just kidding.
Okay, keep going.
Anyway, so when we finally get into town, it's like so windy and dusty. It's like almost like a haboob,
Yeah.
which doesn't really happen in Tucson because usually it happens to be Tucson and Phoenix where it's very open, like Casa Grande area. But I was like, oh, okay, great. We're gonna just go through this.
A haboob is like, I think me and Jenna have explained it.
It's
like
a massive sandstorm, basically.
Yeah.
So it's wind
Yeah.
and sand, and there's no problem. It's a problem. You know?
Did you say there's no problem?
No, it's not
It's a big problem.
It's no problem if you're in your house.
I think we've actually probably talked about how, like, 10 years ago, I picked you and Jenna and Michael up.
When we came back from Scotland. And there
Yeah,
was a
from the
haboob, we had
airport
to pull
in
over.
Phoenix, and we had to
Yeah.
pull over because there was like a huge haboob. I like that story because you make me sound really good in it because you're like, you brought snacks and like bottles of water
No,
for
you were
us.
so great. You like picked us up from the airport, and you had like M&Ms and trail mixes and all kinds of shit. And they're like, here's some water. Here's a Coca-Cola. It's like, this is great. We just had a 14-hour flight.
Well, that's what I figured. You were on the
and
plane
then you
for
got
a long
stuck in
time.
a sandstorm. I was like, she's not very good at driving. And plus, we were in that dope-ass BMW. It was like so nice. Like, this is a great way to get back.
Yeah, I had a nice BMW that was from my ex-husband. So
we went
no
through
more.
the windy sandstorm a little bit, and then it just started like downpouring, like
Pelting.
so windy.
Oh my
and, like,
gosh.
you couldn't see shit. Like the windshield wipers were. Everybody had their hazards on.
Yeah, it's hard
It
to
was
make people
crazy.
realize it because, like, you think, okay, how bad could like the rainstorm be? It's daytime. You're in the middle of the desert. It's not like it's not like it's dark and there's a bunch of trees that could fall on the road.
Well, what's
but it is bad.
Well,
It
what's
is
interesting
bad.
about it is like it's like you're in like a tornado or like a typhoon, like hurricane kind of situation, but you're backlit by bright ass sun behind you because
Right.
there's no storm behind you.
Right.
It's coming.
We were driving
your
into
direction,
it.
so it's like super windy. It's like torrential rain, like just like you see, like
And
the
a
trees
rainbow.
getting ready to blow over and break apart.
The three
But
trees
behind you is bright sunny days,
Yeah.
and just beyond that storm, there's more bright sunny days.
Yeah, that's what happened. And we saw, okay, guys, so I posted on Thursday, the day that I went for the the chest x-ray for Henry, a rainbow that I saw on our way home from a morning walk.
The
I was
rainbow
like,
and the hawk.
we saw the hawk and then we saw a rainbow. And I was like, today's going to be a great day. I wasn't even thinking about the x-ray. And then it turned out to not be great. And I was like, fuck rainbows. But then Friday on the way home, we saw it's the first time I've ever seen in my life. Like, usually I see a
The
part of a
full
rainbow,
arch rainbow.
the full arch from one side all across the top, all
And
the way
then
to
we
the other.
went through a sandstorm and a torrential rain monsoon.
We did. And then I saw a rainbow today leaving your house at 5 a.m. today.
So many
3
rainbows.
rainbows. I know. I'm waiting for the gold. I am waiting for the gold.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't exciting. And then we watched Twister.
Yeah, you put Twister on. I was like, well,
Old
that's
school
kinda fits.
Twister. I love that movie. That's one of the few like older movies that like we both can agree on right away.
Well, it's got Bill Paxton in it, so it's
Yeah.
like dope.
No.
So just so the listeners know,
Oh God, here we go.
you know, everybody knows about the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can connect Kevin Bacon to anybody in 6 people because he's been in so many movies. I came up with 3 degrees of Bill Paxton, and Bill Paxton's been in so many movies with so many people. Like you can connect him to anybody.
But he hasn't been in. Okay, so this literally just hit me. I've heard this obviously 850,000 times from you, but Bill Paxton has not been in more movies than Kevin Bacon. And if it takes 6 degrees to get to Kevin Bacon, why would it take less to get to Bill Paxton, who's been in less movies? Are you just trying to
Actually,
make a more challenging game?
You know what the interesting fact is, though, is I think you're wrong. Is that Kevin Bacon
Do
hasn't
you?
been in as many movies.
Do you?
So put it this way.
Or is it just movies, or is it movies or TV shows?
No, I can just do it with just movies. You give me TV shows,
No,
I'm getting
no,
in 2.
it's not movies or TV shows. It's anything. It's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Okay, well, Bill Paxton's been in more.
Let's find out.
So here's a little fun fact. In the original Terminator movie, because you brought up that movie, there's like a punk dude who's like, when the Terminator first comes back in time, and he's like, hey, bro, what's up? That's Bill Paxton, which immediately gets you to Arnold Schwarzenegger, which gets you to a lot of places. He was in Apollo.
Oh, I guess that's.
He was in Apollo 13
I guess that's a good point. That like, it's not necessarily how many movies or TV shows or marriages or whatever. It's because it's however you can connect somebody to.
I
him.
feel like it has to be film.
I feel like you're wrong. To however many people you can connect to Bill Paxton, it's to however many people you can connect to the people that Bill Paxton is connected to.
Well, it's 3 degrees of Bill Paxton. So it's
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if Bill Paxton has been in a movie or a TV show with someone who's been in 100 million movies or TV shows, then that automatically puts him ahead of Kevin Bacon. You see what I'm saying?
But Bill Paxton's also been in a ton of different things. Like he's had bit parts. You know, Kevin Bacon's
Can I
like.
tell you the answer?
You know what's funny is about this is that I always talk about Apollo 13. It's like one of the movies. Like Bill Paxton's in it. Like he relates to. Kevin Bacon's in that fucking movie. You know.
He is?
Yes.
Okay, can I tell
He takes
you?
Gary Sinise's place because he's sick. The guy had the measles.
Did you know that Gary Sinise went to Highland Park High School in Chicago, which was like where I went to sports camp every summer? I know.
Okay.
Kevin Bacon has been in more movies than Bill Paxton. As of recent counts, Kevin Bacon has appeared in over 90 films, while Bill Paxton has
Whoa.
appeared in around 60, and Bill Paxton passed away in 2017. So he will not be
Bacon's-
making any more
Yeah,
films.
bacon's still sizzling.
Yeah. Stupid.
Come on, that's good. No, but I don't know. I just came up with the game and it was funny.
No, I
like
know.
I'm sure like the 6 degrees, but I was like the 3 degrees of Bill Paxton.
I know. So guys, if anybody wants to play the 3 degrees of Bill Paxton and like film it, record it, and send it to us, I'm sure Mark would be ecstatic to
I'd
know that
love
he
to
has
see
passed
it.
this game on to anyone else. Yeah.
Just think about this. Like
Oh God.
Bill
I
Paxton.
thought we were done. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I like it.
No, go ahead. Think about this. What? Keep going.
Like Gary Sinise, right?
Uh-huh.
He's in Apollo 13.
He's
with
also
Bill Paxton.
in
He's in Mystic River with Tim Robbins.
He's also in Forrest Gump.
Bam. I'm telling you.
Okay,
it's like a
Mystic
whole,
River. It's weird that you said Tim Robbins instead of.
because you want to get the
no,
the
inst-
slighter the lesser of a person, like the
Why?
less known actor, because it's better because through Tim Robbins you can connect to anything.
We can connect to Susan Sarandon, who's been in everything because he was married to her or is still married
This
to
was
her.
like a long time ago. Like
Also,
we connected to
why
like
would
Britney
it-
Spears or some shit. You know what I mean?
Tim Robbins.
No. Bill Paxton.
Oh, it's Sean.
Penn.
Exactly. Thank you. And he's been in, and you can connect him to his siblings.
Well, remember we were talking about like we're watching and we're talking about this and you're like, it's Carrie Elwes, right? And you're like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
Connect him
it's-
like he's in with Bill Paxton, right?
And
Well,
Princess Bride.
Yeah, Andre the Giant. I have him in 2. I don't even need 3.
Okay, but
Bill Paxton's in Twister with
Carrie-
Carrie Elwes. Carrie Elwes is in Princess Bride with Andre the Giant. Like Andre the Giant's been done for 30 years.
Okay, and he's in
Bam.
Princess Bride with.
Robin Wright Penn
There you go. That's it.
and a bunch of other people.
And then you connect back to Sean Penn all the way around. But also,
It's a
it's
fun
weird
game.
that you can say Carrie Elwes' name. Carrie Elwes was in a movie with Alicia Silverstone, who was in a movie.
The Crush.
Yes, I love that movie. Who was in a movie. Alicia Silverstone was in a movie with.
Paul Rudd called Clueless.
That's right. And Paul Rudd is friends with Joe Buck, and I know Joe Buck. So I
Wow.
just inserted myself into the 6 degrees of
Okay.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, because everybody wants to know who Margot. They're like,
Thank
do they
you.
know Margot Carmichael? They're like, well, she kind of knows Bill Paxton in a way. You know what's closer to that is like you've talked to like Goldie Hawn and.
Yeah, but she doesn't know Bill Paxton.
You kidding me?
She does. She hasn't been in anything with Bill Paxton. He's dead
No,
now.
She's never been. I mean, there might be a chance, but she hasn't been anything with Bill Paxton. But you can connect him in 3.
How?
Okay, so here we go. Bill Paxton's in Tombstone.
With Kurt Russell, who's
Who's-
married to Goldie Hawn.
No. Who was not married?
Well, they.
He was in Overboard with Goldie Hawn. Bam, 2.
Well,
I
they're
don't
not
even need
married,
3.
but they're life partners.
Hey,
and
whatever.
I know Goldie Hawn.
But you see how easy that is? Like, bam.
That's fun. See, I bet you could do 6 degrees of me.
That might be more. Nah, I could get close. But like getting you to like, Sean Penn, it might be a little harder. Let's not pump you up too much, babe. Let's give you a little time, and then we'll make the 1 degree of Margot
100%
Carmichael.
kidding, obviously. But that does make me think of, I saw a TikTok today and it made me realize, and this woman was, the TikToks, there are certain TikToks that are very popular where like waitress.
Are they called viral?
Yes, we're like, shut up. We're waitresses or makeup artists or people who like work with celebrities kind of behind the scenes or not even work with them. Like a waitress doesn't work with them, but you work at a restaurant in LA where there's a lot of famous people, something
Yes,
like
I
that.
made them.
Yeah. So there's a lot of viral TikToks of like regular people who have interacted with celebrities and then they spill the beans. Like, okay, my top 10 celebrities that have come into my restaurant and I've waited on them and like, did they tip good or did they not? Or were they friendly? Were they
Hopefully
not?
they'll
Were they
lose their
rude?
jobs if they're bad.
Right. And so most of the people who do this are like, they don't do that job anymore.
They've moved on.
And so I saw, just randomly scrolling while I was showering, because that's the only time I watch TikTok. Today,
Which makes sense. Your phone in the shower,
I saw one, and this woman was talking about Jason Sudeikis, and she was like, "I'm not going to say anything on here, but it is on my Patreon because I had an interaction with him, and then I have a bunch of people who have messaged me and shared their interactions with him, and they were not good. And it was really interesting.
You've met him, right?
I have. So first of all, she's smart because she's pushing people who like, there are people who really want to know that. Like, what did he do?
Oh, yeah.
What's the dirt? And so then they go over and sign
Maybe
up for
you
her
should have done
Patreon.
that.
Well, so that's what I was thinking about. So I'm watching this and I'm like, gosh, I don't know that many people, but I have had at least brief interactions with a lot of celebrities, truthfully, from the podcast
Bill Paxton
stuff.
ever?
No. I had just gotten into podcasting when he died.
Well, I wish we would have started sooner because then I would have been
Sorry. I'm
to
so
Bill Paxton
sorry.
by 2.
Still, you might meet Kurt Russell one day. You never know.
I can't wait.
I know.
Dude, do you know about Bill Paxton? Do you have any pictures of him?
So yes, I did meet Jason. I mean, very briefly. When we went out to, when Jenna came with me, we went out to LA for Cavalry's Christmas dinner. There was like just the 14 employees. We had a Christmas dinner, and then we all went, or most of us went back to the hotel where Jenna and I were staying to have drinks after dinner. There was a bar at the bottom of this hotel that Brandon got us in. It's
The Palm, right?
No, that's where our dinner was. We were staying at Sunset Tower, which is like a kind of a staple. You know what I mean? It's an iconic, well-known.
You want to be there.
Place. And so we all went for drinks there, and I texted Joe, who happened to be in LA at the exact same time. I can't remember what he was there for. And he was staying right up the street. And so I texted Joe because myself and Jenna and then Josh, our audio editor from Daddy Issues, was also, he came and met us with his wife at the hotel, or the bar at the hotel. And then I don't remember why, but like Joe was, I think I texted in our group text, I texted Oliver. I was like, we're at Sunset Tower, me and Josh, having drinks. Come meet us, because Oliver lives in LA. Joe lives in St. Louis. But in our group text, Oliver never answered. And Joe was like, I'm in LA. We were like, really? Can you come have a cocktail? And he was like, sure, I'll be there in 15 minutes. And so, and so then Joe comes to the hotel and comes and like meets my sister, and me and Josh are talking to him. And then he realizes that Jason Sudeikis is in the same bar.
And thinks he might have ran into Bill Paxton at one time. So he's got to talk to him. That's what I'm thinking in my head.
And so Joe was like, I'm going to go. He's friends with Jason Sudeikis. So he went. I was going to say Jason. It feels really weird to say not his full name because I don't know him. And so he went and sat with him and then brought him over to meet us. And he was, I mean, look, it was a 5-minute interaction. So who the fuck knows? He could be terrible. But he was incredibly friendly. He doesn't know who I am. He was very polite. And Joe's good friends with him. And I trust Joe implicitly. So if Joe's good friends with somebody, I believe that they're a good person because Joe's one of the best people I know.
Well, there you go.
Anyways.
Do you think I can relate Bill Paxton to Jason Sudeikis?
No. Jason.
I guarantee you I can.
Do it in your head and we'll share it later.
Okay. I will.
No, you can do it. If you think you can do it, do it. I support you.
No, let's keep going. I'll brew it in my brain.
Okay. Anyways, I was thinking like it would be really interesting to share. Like that's an easy one to say. Nobody cares that Jason Sudeikis was very polite and nice. They want to hear the bad ones, and there are some bad ones. So then I must have like gotten somehow onto this algorithm of TikTok because I liked that video. And so like 5 videos later, there was another one. And this girl didn't share the name, but she said, I met a very famous TikTok influencer with millions and millions of followers. And she was nothing how she portrays herself. And it just made me start thinking like, well, I've met a handful of TikTok influencers, like people who are not actual celebrities. They're not actors, because I made that show, talk show, TOK show, with
TOK?
2 pretty big TikTok, Instagram influencers. And we started that like in the pandemic because they became really huge during that time. You know the 2 I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anybody can look it up, but I'm just not going to say their names. And from that, I met a lot of people who were not traditional celebrities, but they were TikTok famous people. And this girl, whoever I saw this video of her today, like she was right. Like there are a handful of people who are 100% not at all. Like you watch their videos and they're very personal videos. You really think you know them. You're like, wow, I like this. I'm going to follow this person. I really like this person. I like what they stand for and what they're saying and their personality. And
then you find out they're a nut sub.
And then you find out they're not at all like that to work with, at least, or really to interact with. And I thought, man, I would love to share some of that gossip. But that's so unprofessional. I can't do it.
Just don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. I came into contact with more TikTok celebrities and actual. Well, I'm saying that with quotes. I mean, like, actors, actresses, musicians, like more. Out all of those people, I've definitely come into more good people, really nice people who do seem like wonderful people than shitty, snooty, stuck up people. But there are definitely some that are, I was surprised with how not great people they were to meet.
That'll happen.
It's really anticlimactic to share that because people are like, well, who?
Well, who is it?
And I can't say.
Well,
do you want to go make yourself a drink? Because I have a few more things to discuss.
Okay, I'll make a drink.
Could you pour me a little wine while you do it?
Whoa. Oh, so that's what this is about.
Well, I can keep talking while you're making things. Okay. I have things to talk about still. So, let's see what else is on my list. I know what I'll do while he's making our drinks. So I have been trying to be better about checking our Instagram DMs and voicemails and emails. And there were a few. I tried to get back to everybody last week. I, of course, now haven't gotten back again. But there were a few I just wanted to say. And I know some people probably won't hear this because they don't listen to the bonuses. And that's totally fine. But our human GPS sent me a message and I really like what he wrote in it. He said, some call it rambling. Some call it the gift of gab. And that must have been in response to like a bad review we got or something. And then to connect that, Nat on Patreon, she put a message in the group chat where she said, I took the human GPS's recommendation to eat at the diner at the Triple T truck stop. And she said, he's right. The apple pie is so worth it. And that like filled me with happiness that one of our listeners shared something with me. And then I shared that on the podcast. And then another listener took that suggestion. And I don't know, it just felt like we're all connected. And I really liked it. Derek mentioned something that I thought was nice because I really haven't talked about the wedding episode since I did it, unless I already said all of this on a recent bonus, which is entirely possible. But he said he really liked the wedding episode, and that was nice to hear because I enjoyed doing it. It was kind of fun to go back through that. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself that I've already said all of these things. I maybe have. But so now I'm going to stop because I'm getting nervous that I'm repeating myself. But everybody who has sent recommendations for a walking pad, I did get one recommendation from Stephanie, and case suggestions. I've gotten multiple from Nat, from Jay, I'm forgetting people. But I've gotten some great case suggestions, so I really appreciate that. And I don't know, I just like hearing from all of you. So if it strikes you to reach out, please do. And beyond that, I'm trying to think what else I can talk about. Well, Mark takes 1,000 hours to make a cocktail and a glass of wine. No, that's all I have, really. I told the story about how I got stuck by a cactus today on Patreon, and I shared on Instagram our very Tucson weekend where we went to Guinea's for breakfast, and we went to the Medela Vina Ranch for the antique fair. So that's already out there in the world.
If you haven't gone to Guinea's, go there and eat food.
Mm-hmm.
The bakery right next door, La Baguette, is the best.
Yeah,
Morning
we've talked
buns
about
have
that.
magic in them.
Yeah. You know that morning bun we got the other day?
It was the best one I've ever had in my life.
It was. And the
The one you're
second
talking about?
the second one is still on my counter in the bag. And I was like, oh, I better throw this out. And I opened it up and I took like the teeniest piece off because I was like, I wonder if it's still good. And I meant to bring it because it was still amazing.
Damn it, I want it.
Oh my God, it's so good. You think I should share Ricky's recipe for fish tacos, or is that weird?
I might want to save that. I would well,
Like
I mean,
keep it private? But like, is that a private? Why?
No, I would totally say it, put it out there. Like,
Right? Like when we want people to
put
enjoy
like a
it,
text so that people know it, you know?
rather than what? Like, I'm not going to read it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like, write it down, people.
No, I was going to like take a
I mean,
picture
I
of
was
my
trying to-
recipe
I
and
was trying to
post
start a
it.
business, but I guess we're
Well, that's what I'm
screwed.
saying. Like, is it weird to share something like that's a family recipe?
It doesn't matter. It's so freaking good.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so just so you know, at the end of the episode, not the episode, the end of the recipe is if these aren't the best fish tacos you ever had, go
Yeah.
fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's what my uncle wrote at the end of the recipe.
And he's right.
He's totally right. Yeah, he was a That's my mom's brother. He was a phenomenal chef. And it's funny because my cousin, so his eldest son, my eldest cousin of two cousins. I only have two cousins.
The eldest of two.
Well, I mean, we have cousins on my dad's side. We just don't know them. But Michael like worked in food for a very long time. Remember I told you he was like the general manager at like Caesar's Palace, I want to say restaurant in Vegas, and he took like 6 months and like toured the world eating the best food he could find in every country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, my Uncle Ricky he made lots of great food, but obviously these fish tacos stand out as one of the best.
So good.
The best fish tacos
We
ever.
just made them last night.
We did. We're going to have them
again
tonight. Yeah. The best fish tacos ever, but also no, just the best fish tacos ever. Yeah, that's all. And
It's
then
simply that.
the only other recipe I can really think, I know he made so many good things, is his chocolate souffle. And it was like a thing. Like if you wanted it, you had to let him know in advance, and like it's gonna take
a
a good amount of time, but when it happens, it was magical. Like, and that's a hard recipe. It was so good. I don't think I have that recipe. I wonder if Michael or Darren have it.
Let's hope so.
So the other thing I wanted to tell you, speaking of desserts,
Oh yeah.
I have some news for you.
It sounds like bad news. Like there's no more desserts ever in the world.
So Roberto Lolli, that's his nickname, Lolli, Linguinato, the man who invented tiramisu,
Oh shit.
passed away at the age of 81.
Damn.
I know. I didn't really think about that. Somebody invented tiramisu.
Well, someone invented everything, you know.
I know.
What'd you think? They just like someone's like, oh, just make this.
I don't know. I imagine that he probably wasn't still alive. I didn't think that the man who invented the Italian pastry tiramisu was still alive.
Well, now you know.
Because I assumed tiramisu was like 200 years old.
No.
Well, I don't know. Old.
80s is pretty old.
But he died at 81 after a long illness. Linguinato was working at the renowned restaurant La Becherie in Treviso, Italy, when he created the dessert. One story suggests he accidentally dropped mascarpone cheese into a bowl of sugar and eggs, later adding ladyfingers soaked in espresso with co-inventor Alba di Pilo Campeol, the wife of La Becherie's owner.
Well, it's like the Caesar salad
So
was invented
cool.
in Mexico. You know?
It was?
Yeah, it's a
I didn't
Mexican
know that.
restaurant. It's like literally like how the Caesar salad started.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but we love tiramisu cake. Well, we love tiramisu cake, actually, is what we get from Fry's. And that's why I mentioned that. Okay, I have two little dog stories, and then we can wrap this extra long. Well, it's not that long. Okay, the Hawaiian island of Kauai
What?
encourages tourists to check a dog out of shelters for a day as part of a field trip for dogs program. Having the dogs out and about gives them exercise and increases their chances of getting adopted by a local.
Dope.
Cool, huh? I really like that. And then here's another animal one because it's me.
Animal.
A boy who sells his Pokemon cards, which are apparently like very...
Yeah, they're
a thing now.
Yeah.
They're
They've
also
been a
sold
thing
on
for
like Antiques Roadshow, which makes us
No
seem
sense.
really old because...
Pokemon's not that old.
Anyways, he sells his Pokemon cards he needs to raise $650 to save his dog's life because his dog has parvo. He's like a
Wow.
8-year-old boy.
Well, I mean, like, you have to do that right away, by the way. Like, he needs to do it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
no kidding. So he was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. We can't afford to pay for the treatment, but he had to raise that money. And so he decides to sell his Pokemon card collection literally on the side of the road. It says like Pokemon cards for sale. And he was selling the cards for $5 to $10. However, once people got wind of his fundraiser through Facebook, they just began to donate, and he ended up raising $19,500.
Damn.
Saved his dog's life, and then the family decided to donate the rest to other dogs who needed the treatment.
So fucking sweet.
Oh my God. I mean, this family couldn't afford, and look, neither could I, but couldn't afford a $700 procedure, and they end up raising $19,000 extra dollars, and instead of keeping that to use for their family, they donate it to other needy
pups.
animals. Like, somebody who's rich and famous, or just rich, write this family a check. Like, that's so rare.
Nice.
It's so rare. I feel like I don't even know if I would do that. Like,
Whoa.
I mean, I'm struggling. You get $19,000 that, like,
You only need
out of
600
nowhere,
of it?
and you only need 600. Like,
Oh,
I don't
you
know.
give like 5 or 6 grand to pups and stuff.
I mean, I would like to think I'd give all of it away, but I don't think I would. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying that's an impressive.
It's sweetness.
That's very sweet. So, I just wanted to share some good news stories.
Good vibes.
And with that, I guess we'll sign off. I doubt we're going to get to the actual episode tonight, which means, guys, it's probably going to be me doing it by myself tomorrow. So I'm sorry. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe Mark will go stand outside his misters and be like revived with so much energy, and we'll just
never know.
bang it out the episode.
Well, this is supposed to be like a 30-minute episode. It's been like an
Well,
hour and a
you
half.
know what? You talk a lot. I talked a lot, I feel like.
You talked a lot.
I did. I'm sorry.
All right, so Jason Sudeikis.
Oh my God, I'd be so impressed if you really had that right now.
It's kind of close. I have it in, I think, 3 or 4. It's Jason Sudeikis is in Horrible Bosses with Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is in...
Kevin Spacey's not in Horrible Bosses.
Kevin Spacey's in Horrible Bosses.
No,
he's Jason Sudeikis' boss.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
literally it.
Okay, keep going.
And
Kevin Spacey worked with Dana, and Dana knows me.
okay. Yes, Kevin Spacey is in House of Cards with Robert Wright Penn. Robert Wright Penn is in... What is it?
Princess Bride with Carrie Elwes.
Who's in Twister with Bill Paxton.
Wow. I'm impressed. That was
And
not 3.
That was 4. That's what I'm trying to say is if I thought longer not listening to you, I could figure it out better. You know?
I thought that was really impressive. Good job.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty great.
You are pretty great. All right, let's sign off. And guys, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this banter. And say your little prayers or well wishes
For Henbin.
for Hanban, that his tumor is benign and he lives for many more years. And please keep sending your voicemails, DMs, emails, and either tomorrow you will have an episode, a very interesting episode from myself and Mark, or just from me, not sure yet. But I'm going to literally not edit this and publish this immediately. So thanks guys for listening. Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.